Been a while since we have done one of these. Yeah, I needed a mental break. This wasn't the only show I was doing. Lots of stuff. Took care of some medical stuff that I was waiting on for the VA to do for years. Literally, some of them were things I was waiting for since 2019. So at least I finally got to go see the people. Nothing got done, but I got to see them, uh, including an emergency surgery last month. But well, I guess technically now it'd be in 2 months ago, a little over a month ago in September. But appreciate you sticking around. Make sure to share the post, share the links, share everything you can because everyone knows racing fans, and that helps it get back going in the appropriate direction. And again, a lot of things have happened since we last talked about anything in many different series across the world. Last thing we talked about was Denny Hamlin being a dick, and thankfully today we're going to end on more Denny stuff. But in the amount of time since we've been gone, I saw Ryan Newman win the 2023 SRX Championship. Well deserved, earned it. Great to see him racing because he races all kinds of stuff, and occasionally in NASCAR for Rick Ware Racing. But he earned it. The guy could still race. Look what he does in his few cup starts that he gets, even in Rick Ware's cars. He's still Ryan Newman, and he's more deserving than some people that are driving in the Cup Series right now as we speak. Oscar Piastri, rookie for McLaren in F1, won a sprint race, which is exciting. Logan Sargent, first American to run full-time in F1 in forever, finally got his first points, even though it was because two people got disqualified, which I still think is weird because they couldn't change anything beforehand, and they can't change stuff to bumpy track, ground off. I thought that was kind of weird, but it got Logan Sargent his first points. Many drivers have been eliminated from the playoffs in NASCAR. Jet Lawrence went on his run after the Supercross season when they went to the motocross season and went undefeated in the 450s until the first race of the Super Motocross Championship playoffs, and then bounced around, still ended up winning the championship in that in dominating fashion. And his brother Hunter got hurt and couldn't run the last race. Otherwise, they could have swept everything again because they're just that talented. But I've always said Jet's really good. I find him to be more talented than his older brother Hunter. There's just something about the way he goes, which is scary and something to appreciate and behold, just because it takes a lot to do what he does on the bike. And he does it well, so that was cool to see. And that's just the tip of the iceberg because, we've seen fights in NASCAR. We've seen penalties in F1. NHRA has been going. IndyCar did all kinds of stuff. There's been a lot of stuff that has happened. Supercars, the British Touring Car Championship, MXGP, MotoGP, the American flat track stuff. Like there's a lot, which has been harder to find this year, by the way, but a lot of good stuff has happened. I figured we'll go to more recent events, talk about Martinsville and the weekend that was in the elimination, race for the NASCAR playoffs and the Xfinity and the Cup Series, and didn't go without controversy. But first and foremost, we're going to talk about the stupid that happened in Martinsville in the Xfinity Series race at the end. There's a lot to unload and all of it. I'm going to try to do it as quick as I can without rambling on because there was a lot of stupid. But I'm going to take away my take on the biggest stupid that happened. And if you're a NASCAR fan, or really anyone, you should have seen a post about it at some point. But I have to say that I am on Sheldon Creed's side, in what happened between him and his teammate, Austin Hill, there at the end of that race. And I have a lot of reasons why I put that on Austin Hill and his team more than I put that on Sheldon Creed. Because Sheldon Creed is paid to race and win races. That's what he gets paid to do, to try to win every race that he can. And especially in that one, he had to win the race to advance. So to start all that off, that's legit his job. So why is anyone surprised too? If the people in the booth were keeping track of the standings and where everyone was points wise, every lap they were giving us, updates of where this person is, it seems, in the Cup and Xfinity. That way, we heard teams on the radio talk about, things. So there's, not a snowflake's chance that Austin and his team didn't know that they were in the clear by a few points when all the stupid shit started happening. Pardon my French. I'm going to drop one more later because of Denny's quote. But, They were keeping track. So it's not like they didn't know. And then when Austin ran him up the track on the restart, I mean, his own teammate up there, that's what led to all the unfortunate events. I believe there was another one after that. And, again, Austin ran him up the track first, way up the track, even if he was looking behind him. He still ran his teammate who needed to win to advance up the track. Sheldon was in a must-win situation. I say moved him respectfully, didn't just drive him up the track because, he overdrove or was an idiot. He did what he had to do to get him to move up so he can get underneath him. And at that point, that's when it all fell onto Austin and his crew chief, who should have came over the radio. He should have figured it out in his own head. They should have already had it discussed. To sit down, shuttle up, and settle back where you are, because right now you're advancing. Just stay here. Just 2 laps? Like, that's all you had to do. And they knew that they were in the clear. I think they said, but 3 points right there? No one was going to get it. He wasn't going to lose 3 points if he just settled in behind Sheldon and let him go. And they had the people with Richard on top of the, track and, all the engineers and everyone there. There's not a snowflake's chance in hell that they didn't know. And when he was completely clear, when Sheldon was around him, he, again, ran him up the track. He kept battling him for the win, kept getting in there, kept getting into him, and kept the race going. Well, Sheldon was literally racing for his season and his first career win, which would have moved both of them on if Austin Hill just did what you heard many drivers' crew chiefs throughout the weekend and other rounds saying, you're all clear, you're good. What? Just don't do anything stupid. And people did it, and they moved on. And they both could have if someone used it, but they chose not to, and they chose to be stupid. We heard enough guys throughout the weekend, again, like I said, tell them that. It's simple, and it's to the point. And calling them stupid, and Andy Petrie getting in his grill, Austin Hill doing, like, it's no way in hell that the team and the crew chief and everyone important didn't know. Sheldon wins, he moves on. Austin's 3 points to the good in second. Tell him to just follow him. Don't do anything stupid, because if you do something stupid, you can get raced hard, and then you can get eliminated. And you both don't make it because he doesn't win and you're wrecked. Like, it did not have to be so goddamn stupid. And at the end of it all, again, it comes to RC's comments about how, dumb drivers, which is just the dumbest thing ever, because all you had to do is tell Austin Hill's dumbass to stay in line behind him and not keep racing him, and they both would be in there. Like, that comes from the top, especially if you're up on top of the stands, which means you can communicate with the guys. And the guys down there on the pit box are seeing the points as it's happening live because they had it up the whole time. They knew. They chose not to do anything. And then Andy Petrie, I lost all kinds of respect for him getting up in Sheldon's face. So what, you want him to just move over and not try to advance both cars? Austin's the only one that matters. Who cares if he's leaving? It's still a chance for both of them to be in the damn playoffs in the championship race, and 50-50 chance of RCR getting a championship instead of them not telling him that and dumb shit happening again. Sorry, there's another one. But that's what ended up costing them both cars, is them not handling the situation properly, which they should have. And again, Andy Petrie to say what he did, but they didn't do the same thing to Austin Hill, which is probably the biggest thing. Like, hey, dumbass, what if you just sat back after he moved you to get to the lead, because that's what you needed to do, and didn't do anything? We both would have made it. But then they get mad at him. I'm sorry, you pay him to race. He's trying to win. He's trying to move on. He's not just going to lay down, especially when his teammate has the points and is to the good and he needs to win. Like, that's just the most idiotic thing ever. And we know Austin Hill didn't get nearly the same reaction from Petrie, Childress, anyone, which is pathetic and disgusting. And man, I don't know, the whole organization that runs things seems to be quite bitter since, how Tyler left last year being a complete scumbag. He didn't say a word to them, even though they're trying to build. And look how Richard handled him the rest of the year. And then Kyle, and it just seems like he's doing spiteful things. And it doesn't seem like he's grown up at all like that. I mean, this is acting like a child. And again, a bad look for everyone across the board, because if everyone else can keep track of that stuff and they have that many monitors and smart people, then they should have used their head and not taken it out on Austin and expected Sheldon to just move over. Like, that was the dumbest thing I've heard of. 100% on Austin. They knew he had to win. His box knew he was clear by a few points if he just settled in. He didn't and kept racing him. And that's why he got wrecked. Sheldon didn't win, and they're both limited. He could have just sat there and did what he had to. He could have been there, just like Blaney last year, had the best car in Phoenix. But Joey was in the lead and going for the championship. So he stayed in second and made sure he kept everyone from getting around him so that Joey could win. And that was the championship. They could have done it to both get a chance at the championship. They tried to do other things. And they're the ass in it. They're the ones that lost out. So I'm putting that 100% on them. There's no other argument that I'll even accept with that, because what other argument can you make about it? They knew. They chose to do what they did. Sheldon knew that, this is one of his last first, chance at a first career win to move on for the championship before he leaves for Gibbs. And that's what they chose to do. So if Austin Hill and his team weren't so worried about themselves and getting another win and not caring that both could move on, none of this shit would have happened. Pardon, there we are again. And that's on Austin. Sorry. There's no, you could try to say other way, but per the situation, Austin and his team should have been adults, not going for another win, which would have eliminated his team if they were really worried about, the cars, both cars making the playoffs, like Austin said. No, none of them are going to. Like, he wouldn't have if he stopped driving. Like, if Austin just stopped being a dick and going for everything. Super talented, love talent wise. I just thought it was stupid. And it showed the rest. And that's why RCR isn't getting a championship, because of dumbasses, because you never know, anything could happen. Look at Hemrick. One get the hell out of my way, one career win, got a championship in it. That's all they had to do, but they did. Jim moves us on to Denny, going on a show and saying the next year will be their fucking year. Pardon my French again, but that's pretty much how he put it. And I personally don't think it'll ever be his year because of his history. And I fully believe in karma being a real thing. Look at all the times he wrecked Annika at Daytona and other times and then blamed her and didn't understand why she was mad. All the times he's just run over smaller teams for years. We've seen him do it. Goodbye, get out of the way. He's done that. Straight wrecking Chase Elliott so many times in Martinsville. It happened more than once. That's a pattern because he couldn't get around them. So he just dumped him and eliminated Chase from the, racing for a championship in the playoffs, which he stole a bunch. His big celebration, no respect after Newman's big brush with death. Austin Hill went into the catch fence. We heard Junior's response to winning the 500. Newman's there possibly bleeding upside down. They don't know, upside down after that wreck. And Denny's doing burnouts right next to him because the only person that matters to Denny is Denny. His incidents with, Alex Bowman and all the shit he talks. His interviews after moments like Larson at Pocono, and they had the other incident at the beginning of the year. He's saying he left Kyle options, either hit the wall or let off and give me the spot, because heaven forbid he could just race him straight up to try to get around him. I don't care about aero, like giving the guy either smashing the wall as fast as they're going right there at Pocono or letting up and just letting him drive away. Like, that's a shitty option, and he would have a stroke if someone did that to him. And isn't it a coincidence, though? It always seems to happen to Denny. There's always something that keeps him back. And there's been years he dominated, like 2020. Him and Harvick won, over half the races that year? And then Harvick fell off the cliff, and Stewart Harps did all together, like as an organization. And he didn't get that championship. Or last year, the Hail Melon, as ridiculous as that was, is what cost him going to race for a championship. And this year, finished third, did everything he could. And look at how we've talked about how it was his year all year and how good he felt and all the stuff they figured out, and he still couldn't move on. Still, like, I'm sorry, you don't get to dominate years and be as good as you are and just be running people over places and then suddenly get to that moment and, twitch out. Like, it does not work that way. He's talented. I honestly think his head's too goddamn big, and that he only thinks about him and doesn't care about what moves he makes on people and what he does to get to where he is. And, he's just generally comes across as dick. And, it's an organizational thing. It's, they just let that happen at Gibbs, but he's gotten too big for his britches. He's done some pretty shady things that he would, then drove right up to Bowman after he moved him, and he got the win, called him a hack and everything, even all the times he's moved Chase Elliott and other people, much bigger situations. It's just one of those things where it keeps going, but karma's real. He's a super talented. Yes, he is super talented. Is he an asshole? Yes, very much so. And that's what keeps holding him back. And that's the way I'm gonna feel, even if it happens. I'm gonna keep saying he could have had more, but he's just done so many things without caring. The racing gods are like, how about no? In my opinion, again, super talented, but he's just a dick. He can't help himself. He cleaned that up. I think things work out better. Yes, we've seen good guys not win championships, but we didn't see the good guys dominate and just go out there and kill it, like he has at times, and then not come through with it at the end. It's just no way. There's always something. Like the Hail Melon should have pretty much summed up how he's just not allowed to win a championship, because who the hell mean, if the old car, that wouldn't have never even happened, but he made it all the way around and all that. And that proves my theory. But very excited for this weekend's championship races. Not excited about the start time for the truck race at 10 Eastern, but they like doing us favors. Thanks for that one, guys. End of the F1 season's coming, which means Supercross is coming again shortly, which means the NASCAR will be right around the corner again. And those are all very exciting, happy things for all of us, but that's where I'm going to leave it on this return. I think I'm sitting at a pretty decent, time number here, without hurting anyone's heads too much. Again, F1, Sao Paulo, Brazil this weekend. Very excited for that. Then I believe they're going to Vegas and then to finish off the season in Abu Dhabi, I believe it is. So that's really, exciting stuff to come. So hopefully everyone enjoys it. Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget, Apple Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Good Pods, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Audible, Overcast. It's on YouTube. It's on Rumble. Love my Rumble. So subscribe to all of those things. The socials, again, it's Racing Rucinski on X, Racing with Jesse Rucinski on Facebook, Instagram, and the TikTok channel. So follow all of those. Share the hell out of all of that. And don't forget, we're also sponsored Reaper Apparel Company. We made this fantastic hat and a lot of other things. Dubby Energy, Goth Treasures, Hodge Twins, and Hold the Line, all sponsors. So when you see those, check them out, get some stuff, share those. Linktree is coming soon, so I'll have all the links. You can just click on one thing, you subscribe to that, and then all the links will be right there. So whenever an episode releases, you just Linktree will let you know, and you can go get your thing, which is really, really exciting. That's coming soon. I'll be back much quicker this time around. I don't even want to look and see how long it was, but Pocono, so it's been more than enough time since I've done this, and I promise I'll be back. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the time. Share the bejesus out of this, and until we meet again, enjoy the race and peace.